Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlicker, shills, debt slaves, serfs, peasants, vassals, minions, meat sacks, immigrants. I'm Useful Idiot. Welcome. And one policy that Trump gets a lot of approval on is immigration. And he has made some major achievements in that area that I've talked about in earlier videos. But more interesting figures are coming out that just show just how dramatic the change is. And it definitely undermines Biden's argument that there are some legalities to go through, and that it wasn't so easy to close the border. And Trump has only been in office for 50 days, and he used an executive order, and now we're at a historic level of the border being closed. And one of the interesting facts, of course, was that the Trump administration has made 32,809 arrests in basically 2 months. And Biden, in an entire year, 2024, his last year in office, he made 33,242 arrests. And I find that revealing because it shows that, in spite of the fact that the Biden administration let so many illegals in, he was still making efforts to get illegals out. So that's kind of confusing. But the difference between Trump's 52 months and Biden's 12 months is striking, that the numbers are almost equivalent. And the Biden administration, the Trump administration has broken records going back to the 1800s as far as migrants coming into the country. And another interesting figure was that 7.2 million illegals were let in under Biden, although we've heard figures as high as 10 to 15 to 20 million. But according to this article I read, 7.2 million illegals were brought in, and it's more than the population of 36 states. So that gives you some perspective of how many immigrants are coming in the country. And if it's double that, 15 million, it's even more striking that it's larger than the population of each of those 36 states. And so now we have a 95% border closure, and border agents have come out and said they've never seen anything like it, and quite a development. And so, in all respects, right now, Trump's talking about having the wall finished by his last year in office, but they've made a lot of progress already. But the fact that we're 2 months into the Trump administration, and he made good on his promise to close the border, and for all practical purposes, it's closed. And one of the other fascinating figures that came out is that all U.S. population growth between 2022 and 2024, or 2022 and 2023, that year was all illegals. It's the first time that's happened since 1850. So we're talking about some historical numbers. We're talking about pretty historical developments. And of course, right now we have this battle going on, a court saying that Trump couldn't deport a number of immigrants to Venezuela, and he's going to do it anyway. And we've seen some dramatic footage. 600 immigrants were just arrested in Houston. We've seen all these hardened criminals that are being sent back to El Salvador, and they're not going to be happy to be back there. I've seen the video, and they are definitely being treated pretty harshly by the government of El Salvador that they're returning to, and I'm sure the same thing is happening in Venezuela. And a couple other interesting stories that tie with this. The progress of the deportations is going on so much that ICE is already $2 billion in the red. So they're going to have to scramble to come up with more funding if they keep deportations up at this rate. And then another side story that was interesting, and this is the kind of stuff that I don't like hearing about the Trump administration. They scrambled to set up facilities in Guantanamo, spent $16 million, and it's pretty incredible. A lot of these tents, the government's being charged something like $1 million a piece for these tents for deportees into Guantanamo. But now that all those people shipped off to Guantanamo are coming back to the United States, so there's $16 million flushed down the shitter. So maybe Doge ought to take a look at that. But anyway, it's just crazy. The whole immigrant issue in the United States, the whole deportation issue. 32,000 in 2 months, and only 7 million more to go. Of course, a lot of those are going to be migrants that will be okay, as they say. Trump is apparently coming through on his promise to just go after the worst of the worst. And a lot of the reports I've seen, they have a list a mile long of the criminal offenses of a lot of these people that are deporting: child molesters and rapists and thieves and the like. So anyway, there's not much to criticize. The whole pace and all the external stories that attach to this make it seem like a free for all. But when the dust settles, it looks like the migrant issue has been addressed, and Trump can move on some other things while the immigrant policies continue for the next 4 years and the wall gets built. So anyway, as always, every day now is full of surprises. I'm a useful idiot. Don't you be one too?